Sounds like we're ready to get started. Welcome to today's fundraising refreshments, AI tools you can use to boost your fundraising. I'm your host, Charles Lehosit, Vice President of Technology and Product Development at RKD. Here's a neat bio. I'm not going to read it to you. I do appreciate a little pumpkin spice, so cheers. I hope you've got your refreshment ready. I lied about the pumpkin spice. This is just tea, but cheers. It is that time of the year, and I hope you're as excited as I am to talk about today's topic. Today's treat, breaking through the noise. Gosh, you can't escape AI headlines anymore. It's like that's all there is out there, right? If you've been to a recent conference, if you've been to Bridge recently, it's like everyone's in AI these days. It's really fun and interesting and maybe a little annoying because everything that's not AI is suddenly getting an AI label on it. We're not going to gatekeep AI in this, don't worry. But I think this is how many are feeling. There are hundreds of AI tools out there. The options are overwhelming. Maybe I'm feeling, pressure to pick a winner, pick tools, and you have, many in the nonprofit industry that are saying, pick me, use this tool. The usage isn't always intuitive. You might hear from your peers, I wrote this email with AI, I'm doing this, that, or the other with AI. And you may have found that your mileage may vary. Your results are a little different, and you've chased that rabbit down the rabbit hole. And so, to change things up a little bit, this today, I think, make today more meaningful and helpful. We're not going to talk just about tools. We're talking about tools and use cases. And so really want to align the value of the tool and show you. Actually, we're going to go into some AI agents and actually show you some results and some of the use cases that you can start taking advantage of today. So if you're excited about that, let's get a yay in the chat. If you have any questions at any time, please do use the chat. Would love, if you have your own use cases for any of the AI agents that we're going to be talking about today, or AI tools we're talking about today, please do share with your peers. Volunteer a little, be brave, volunteer a little bit of information. But if you have any questions, there are no dumb questions. Just assume that if you've got a question, there may be 10, 20, 200 other people that have the same question. So be brave, please. So the real fundraising refreshment is AI tools and use cases that you can use to boost your fundraising. Let's get started. So we're starting with really the use cases, and maybe it's best to start with the OG use case, generative AI, ChatGPT. Wow, we hear that people are writing all kinds of things with it today. Are you getting quality out of it? And we'll talk about data analysis and we'll sneak a little photo editing and image creation in there. But for those of you wanting to know what you're going to get out of it, we're going to focus on copywriting, and we're going to focus a lot on data analysis. You're going to see some actual results from the AI tool. You're going to see the prompts that got those results, and I'm going to give you some information about how to get better results from for copywriting and for data analysis. So who said it better? I'm not going to make you to wait for you to read all of this. Let's go with just the first sentence. ChatGPT, we want to share a story with you. Meet Charlie, a brave little dog who was found in unimaginable conditions. Claude, when little Charlie came to our organization, he was barely alive. Which one of those two sentences has a stronger hook for you or pull for you? If you read on a little bit more, I think you'll agree that Claude AI, this is the email opener, that Claude has a stronger open. And if you have been struggling to get good quality, creative fundraising copy out of ChatGPT, it's definitely possible. I think you'll find it's easier with Claude. And so I'm going to, for copywriting, the recommendation is Claude for emails over ChatGPT. If you take your same prompt in ChatGPT and put that same prompt in Claude, and in my opinion, you get a better result from Claude in the first result, which is what matters, right? You know, if you took 30 prompts to get the perfect email, if you took 45 minutes to struggle with ChatGPT Plus to get the perfect email, why not just write that manually? And so, you know, really highly recommend Claude for long form copy. Email is a really great use case. Now, what's interesting is Claude is not great at everything. You know, Claude doesn't follow directions as good as ChatGPT. I'll show you what I mean by that. Claude is not as maybe analytical as ChatGPT, and so when trying to get subject lines and social posts from, you know, when comparing the results from Claude and ChatGPT Plus, ChatGPT Plus has a better, smarter use of emojis. Can't believe I'm saying that. And this is coming from a person that sparsely uses emojis. And so ChatGPT Plus, whenever I see the emoji use, I'm like, gosh, that's smart. What the heck does a blue heart mean? I don't know, but it looks really great where the AI decided to put it in that social post or subject line. And for social posts, as we know, we're not looking just for the message to be really catchy or to have a good hook or to sound good. We need the hashtags, and ChatGPT Plus is so much better at Claude than generating really smart hashtags for your social posts. It's something it's just interesting where Claude is just a really great creative writer. It struggles on you know, where to put emojis and also the hashtags. It struggles on the hashtag recommendations without like a lot of prodding. And that's, I think, the point of this is let's align the tool with the best use case for creative email writing. I'm not suggesting you 100% take that email from either tool and just ship it. But if you're looking to speed up your drafts, or even to get a, let's say, a 95% ready to go draft, would recommend Claude over ChatGPT Plus for email. For short form copy for policy, if you're writing policy, if you're writing process or point of view documents, would recommend ChatGPT Plus. For social posts and subject lines, would recommend ChatGPT Plus as well. And with that, let's actually show some examples of you know, prompts and how to get those results that I showed you on the previous slide. So please excuse the browser window here. Let's bump this up for our friends that are online. I'm not going to make you read all of this. I'll paraphrase and summarize. So for anyone that's using, pretend you're an English college professor, pretend you're a fundraising copywriter. That's okay that you're doing that. you are giving, what are you doing when you're saying, let's pretend? You're giving context to the AI. And you can skip. I stopped using let's pretend a while ago. There may be use cases if you're trying to jailbreak an AI, but if you're just trying to get a result and you want a consistent result, you need to give that AI context on, hey, what's the context I'm giving you here is going to help make the outcome better. And so this is an example of that context. There's no pretend. Actually, what I'm doing is saying, hey, here's the parameters for a fundraising email. You're going to get more context after this, but these are the instructions. And so this gives instructions on the target audience, the call to action, some copy points, making the copy donor-centric, making the language inclusive and respectful, the tone, friendly and conversational, the email length, giving it instructions around email copy, and then the inclusion of maybe a donate now button or a countdown timer. So this is something that chat will get you better email copy from ChatGPT and Claude. And in my opinion, the creative copy that you'll get from Claude out of the gate will be superior. This is an example of a prompt. I think it goes a little bit too far, but it's still where you can go with this is, you're giving it, again, we're not pretending, we're just giving you some more instructions. And so, this is just how you might format your instructions. Now, you don't have to go to this length, as an agency in this industry. You can imagine we are deploying tens of thousands of emails every year. And so for us to have to be able to be effective in these tools, we have to have standards, and we have to in order to get consistent results. And so this is a good example of a prompt that we would use over and over again. And if you see some value in this, I would take bits and pieces. You don't have to take all of it. So this will result in subject lines from ChatGPT Plus that have some really great emojis. This is what I'm talking about, like really great emojis and the ability to line up subject lines and preview text so that they're cohesive. They tell a part of a bigger story. And then to have those instructions where you're getting both a mix of emojis and non-emojis. For anyone out there saying, hey, there's 2 emojis in a subject line, that's against the rules. False. You can absolutely have more than 1 emoji in a subject line, and that won't run you afoul of spam filters. So if you have been holding back, if your heart has been wanting more emojis, then do you, and maybe not go wild, but go sprinkle some more emojis in your subject lines. Now, this is something that Claude struggles with, and also following instructions, like the last document I just showed you. I've had versions of this where I asked for 5 subject lines and 5 preview text lines in these instructions, and ChatGPT followed through on it. Claude did not. And actually, here's an example of where, hey, here's the post. We put some information in here for Claude and asked for a number of subject lines and preview text lines. And Claude gave us the following output. I didn't describe this, but the hero image description, bump this up. Hero image description, love this. Charlie, I love that Claude invented a small tan and white dog. So then we've got the headline, and the rest is our copy. Really smart that how your dollar goes to help support the organization and ultimately animals like Charlie. So really smart. But Claude didn't provide us with the number of subject lines or preview text that we asked for. At the end of the day, you're better off asking for the subject line after you get the meat of your email copy, and you're better off getting that from like ChatGPT Plus if you are really adamant on having an AI write your subject lines and social posts. That's going to be it for copywriting. Boom. The rest of this, I'm excited to say we're going to spend on advanced data analysis. So your AI tool of choice. Let's hold our groans. ChatGPT. Actually, it's ChatGPT Plus. So in July, ChatGPT Plus received an update that was called Code Interpreter. In late August, OpenAI renamed Code Interpreter to Advanced Data Analysis, as Code Interpreter can write, read, and execute code. It supports over 300 Python libraries. It'll write HTML and JavaScript and CSS and additional programming languages. ChatGPT Plus using Code Interpreter will write code to analyze data. And so the beauty of this, which is, in my opinion, this is the #1 value of AI agents for nonprofits today. This is, if you never used AI to write copy or create an image, fine. This is where you should be focusing your efforts around exploring AI and taking your next steps in AI. As I've never heard a single organization say, gosh, you know, we don't have enough data for to have more than one analyst, or gosh, we have all the analytical horsepower and staff that we could ever need. In fact, we have so much analytics staff, they're just sitting around waiting for data. So the reality is that, if you're on this call, if you're working with a nonprofit today, you probably have a job that works in data. And so what ChatGPT showed the world is that people like using natural language to interface with data, with information. And so with advanced data analysis, you can upload data up to 150 megs. You can support many different types of files. Now, just keep in mind, your mileage will vary with PDFs and Word docs, as ChatGPT is going to write code to attempt to read your PDF. And so if you are actually using PDFs, would recommend Claude for most of those use cases. If you're working in Excel text files, if you're working with raw text, you're working with Excel, CVS files, etc., CSV files. Wow, I guess I need to go to CVS later today. If you're working with CSV, Excel, XML, text, JSON, ChatGPT Plus is my preferred tool, and advanced data analysis is really the feature of choice. And so we'll go back into ChatGPT Plus, and let's have some fun with it. So just for the purpose of our time here today, I've already uploaded data and ran some questions against it. But I'll walk you through what I did. So the following is a file of donations for a regional nonprofit. The PII has been stripped and removed, and so this is something that you need to be careful of as ChatGPT Plus. Any data that you share with it is fair game for its training models. So unless you're using ChatGPT Plus, or I'm sorry, ChatGPT Enterprise, or unless you're using a privately hosted ChatGPT, maybe through Azure, then you need to remove PII from your data before you upload it. There's still a lot of good that you can get from ChatGPT Plus and advanced data analysis with that data. So when, again, let's not pretend that we're a data scientist. We have a data scientist here. So we uploaded a file that has maybe 2 or 3 years of transactions in it. ChatGPT will summarize that file for you and then ask, what you would like to do with that. And so for this, I'm like, hey, does the data contain zip code? And let's just consider for a second how interesting this is. Yeah, I did zero data prep. Other than I deleted PII. And so there was no time spent cleaning up the data. There was no time. You can imagine like this over years and years, the data governance shifts, or the quality of data may increase or decrease. And so I spent zero time trying to clean up data. And so I want to just call that out. I'm going to call it out February again, because I want you all to be aware, friends, data quality matters, data governance matters, but what I found is knowing your data matters more. And so I know the data that I uploaded, and so I can answer when it asks questions. I can say, yeah, let's use the IP postal field. In this case, that's a geolocation appended zip code. And let's ask some questions like, what do you know about it? Do you know the counties for those zip codes? That's great. In this case, can you produce a map based on the zip codes? You gotta love when the AI is trying and trying and trying. It's working. It's writing code to do this. And it's like, you know what? I actually can't. If you could upload the coordinates, I would be happy to try that again. I'm like, all right, that's good to know. Let's go and try something else instead. So what about a demographic or wealth analysis of the zip codes? Okay, you don't have data beyond 2021, but you do have census data. You do have information on these zip codes. And so let's do an analysis of those. So we've got of the top zip codes, household income, population, median age, etc. And so let's, hey, you only gave me 4 zip codes. Is there any more? You do have to prod. You do have to be assertive. You'll see in my prompts, I use please and thank you. I bet a lot of you do that too. It's natural, right? And I think some of us are hedging our bets. If the machines take over, we want to be the ones that we're treating them politely. All right, joking aside, it's just I don't know. It's just a natural thing for me to say please. I've got another one here where I say please all the time. Let's get to the meat of this, where we start getting more information about zip codes. And in this case, what percent of the transactions are represented in the top zip codes? Okay, let's keep going. There's 666 zip codes. We actually want to know some information about like the market penetration of the zip codes. So I'm going to scroll down here so you can kind of see more of what that process looked like. And so this was interesting, because how I got here, how are the top zip codes representing the overall transaction list? And so what ChatGPT recommended was to visualize that using transactions per 100 residents. I didn't ask for this, and so but I thought, well, that's a neat way of understanding maybe the market penetration and market saturation of those zip codes, and if we were going to invest more advertising dollars in those zip codes, that's helpful for us. And so I think hopefully some of you will think this is neat. Can you produce that table for the top 100 zip codes? And me being a impatient human, I scan this and go like, huh, the table's blank. I failed to read this. The table is truncated for display purposes. And then, would you like to download? I'm like, hey, the table's blank, because I'm a human, and I'm pretty far from perfect. And so when I finally realized, oh, you are trying to be efficient, kudos to you. Yes, I'd like a downloadable version. So I'm making a point here. You can upload data. You can have ChatGPT Plus analyze and process. So generate insights, forecast, predict, score your data. And then you can get a downloadable version. So you can get a a spreadsheet of your data that you can then use for segmentation, custom visualizations, etc. And then at the end of the day, when we're looking for important business decisions, ChatGPT Plus can help you there when you're looking for, what zip codes you should be spending more advertising dollars in or more direct mail dollars in. We've got here a low penetration, high income, meaning these zip codes are a low amount of transactions in them, and we could do better. Here's moderate penetration, high volume, and so here's a zip code that we think there's more potential there. And so I think what's important to note is that the AI here isn't perfect, and so you need to know your data well enough that you can challenge it. You need to know your data well enough that you can answer questions on it. And then in this case, I don't know these zip codes. These zip codes are in a state that I don't live in, and so if this was your organization, you most likely have some knowledge of these zip codes, and so if you see something funny, you can challenge it and correct it. And again, for best results, you need to be assertive and challenge it and correct it. Here's something extremely exciting that I want to go over quickly with you. This is a list of unsubscribes from a nonprofit's email program. And so this data gets, again, no pretending we're data scientists. We are data scientists. The file gets uploaded, gets summarized. Great, great, great. There's flags in here for whether or not I'm receiving too many email or whatnot, but how about just the other reason? And this is one of the most exciting things about this, as I feel like our industry has moved away from open input over the years because it's messy, because it's hard to analyze. So we give our donors and our supporters, our constituents, here's a quick survey, and you've got to be confined to these options. Multiple choice, true, false. You're not free to really give us your thoughts. Well, we're challenging that now. Please bring back surveys. Get your constituents' thoughts, get your volunteers' thoughts, get your donors' thoughts. And ChatGPT Plus is going to help you quickly, in seconds, analyze. Please provide the top reasons from the other reason. Okay, boom. And so you can see there's repeats in here. And so this is why open input is challenging. But all right, please consolidate the top reasons. Now it's not challenging. And so really hope that some of you are really excited about this. Another thing to think about as maybe opt-outs, and the reasons for opting out aren't as exciting for you, but consider when you go back to using your open input surveys, you can ask for a tone and sentiment analysis. You can go deeper than just the results themselves, and it's so quick and easy and cheap to do. Let's go into, let's see here. Here's a file from transactions and donations of a regional nonprofit between 2021 and 2023. You can upload the data and then ask, like, what reports and insights can we get from this? Okay, I'm interested in a trend analysis report. Let's go for the seasonal trends and donations. It goes through the methodology. It explains you, this is what's really great. You don't have to be a statistician. You don't have to be a data scientist, but you do need to pay attention to this, because if you don't agree with the methodology, if you don't agree with the field, it's saying, hey, I'm going to use the date field and the amount field. Well, if there's a different field it should be using for this analysis, you need to call that out. And so you can see me being super polite again. Yes, please. And so, we can see monthly donations over time. Blah, that's not super exciting. How about forecasting for the rest of the year? Who doesn't need that? Who doesn't need to know how they're going to do for the rest of the year? And so, of course, the darn thing knows there's so many different ways to do that, and it'll recommend a model for forecasting, and ask, should we do that? Yes, please. And so now we've got how this nonprofit would finish off September and what the results for October would be. And then, since we know Q4 is the giving season, we expect to see November to be what it is, but it's nice to see the variance to know, well, this is expected, and we know it's because of the past results, and we can line that up, but it's good to see the variance in there. And then let's get a graph in here. Let's see what this graph would look like here. And so you can see where there was a little bit of missing data here, but we're now predicting September, October, November, December. Those look very similar, but not identical to the historical November, December. So this, I think, is going to be very useful for nonprofits, because this is typically an expensive request and expensive in time. The person that has to do this has to do a lot of work in Excel typically, and so this is something that I think will be enormously helpful. I'm going to wrap this up for you all pretty quickly. Here's that same file, but starting again with what insights can we learn from the data. And so I'm getting a little bit of a lecture here. That's totally fine. It's walking me through the process that it's going to take. It's going to load the data. It's going to clean the data. It's going to provide descriptive analytics, trends, etc. So I'm just saying, yeah, please, let's do that. So it loads the data. It summarizes it, right? There's a lot of columns in this file. It's a 50 meg file. It's over 2 years of transactions. And it's providing a summary of the fields that it read. So this is your opportunity to go, yeah, that looks correct. That's what I was expecting. And it's saying, hey, these are our next steps. It's actually going, hey, the data is actually pretty clean. Yay, us, clean data. Again, knowing your data is going to be greater than clean data, because you can help it overcome that. It will clean your data for you. So let's get through descriptive statistics. And so, total amount of donations received, total number of donations, total unique donors, not true, but that's okay. Transaction ID is a unique identifier, but it's saying, this is the assumption. It assumes transaction ID represents a donor. We know that's not correct. And this is where we have some limitations, as this data did not have PII, and so ChatGPT Plus won't and can't know unique donors unless we point it to a CRM ID. CRM ID isn't PII. I think some of you have CRM IDs. Maybe you call it a person ID, contact ID. Regardless, you don't have to have PII in order to get a better analysis on your unique donors than I did here. Average donation amount, donation type, one-time or recurring, first-time donors versus returning donors. Good information. It suggests a trend analysis next. Heck yeah, let's do that. Let's get the trend analysis. Oh, we've got some charts here of donation amounts, number of donations, new donors, etc. That was great. And here's what I want to slow down a little bit. You can just ask questions. Are donations increasing or decreasing? Is the average gift amount increasing or decreasing? ChatGPT will then explain what it needs to do, and do we want to do this? Yes, we do. And then, so here we have the number of donations increasing. We have the average donation actually decreasing. And I want to do better than that. I need to produce this for maybe a board report. So can you please produce charts plotting the average gift and trend line over time? Boom. This took a second, right? And so this can be rerun with new data in another second. This could be run, well, I don't think you would run it every week, but you could certainly run it every month. And it's a very cheap question to answer. And I think that's really the point here. And I'm going to end on this, is that I think for so long, the industry has been starving for resources specifically to help them answer questions around their data, around their donor data, their constituent data. And so I think people looked at ChatGPT Plus or ChatGPT as a tool to write emails, and yeah, it can do that. This is the true use case. This is why you should be using ChatGPT Plus, not just ChatGPT. You won't have this unless you're a ChatGPT Plus subscriber. It's only $20 a month. It is some of the best $20 you can spend. So this is where I'm recommending that you spend most of your efforts. Hopefully, this is if this is new to you, this is exciting and inspiring. If it's exciting to any of you, use the chat. Shout out like what you'd be interested in answering. What questions would you have about your data for ChatGPT Plus? And with that, let's get back to our little slideshow. So, advanced data analysis. Yeah, I could go on and on. I won't. I'm going to spare you. This is supposed to be a quick refreshment, and I think I'm now drowning you. Sorry. So, ChatGPT Plus, advanced data analysis. Analyze this. Open input. Bring surveys back. You can analyze tone and sentiment. You can analyze engagement. If you want to upload your Google Analytics data, if you want to write SQL queries for your CRM or for your SQL database, or you want to write SQL queries for maybe your BigQuery GA4 data, ChatGPT Plus will do that. To help you analyze campaign performance, done. What about financials, transactional data, helping forecast revenue, costs, all of the above. So I think when it comes to advanced data analysis, there is a use for probably everyone on this call. And so we just challenge you to just start, pick a day and start using it. We're going to start walking this back now as we're wrapping up. There's a lot of options for creating, for generative AI, for images, for creative. I think there are a lot of neat options. Certainly what OpenAI is going to do in the future with integrating, ChatGPT Plus with their generative AI, photo and design tool, that's going to add a lot more value. I would recommend the following. Don't chase those other tools. Photoshop and Adobe Firefly are exactly what you need. Be able to use a prompt to say, here's an image. I need to just describe what I'm going to do in this selected area. So in this selected area, I want a lighthouse. Or in this selected area, I need maybe the selected area is a almost perfect photo of a puppy, and I want to make it a little bit better. And so this is a different story than the others, as Claude and ChatGPT Plus are recent inventions. They're new tools. And so my recommendation for all of you is Adobe Photoshop is a classic that's going to get better. And so you'll find that Word and Excel and Outlook, they'll have a version of GPT through Copilot. And so those will get better. So all of our tools are going to get smarter. Adobe Photoshop is an example of one of those tools. I don't recommend that you try to push for integrations with a lot of other tools when the one you've got in front of you is going to just get better and better. So wrapping up, let's not wait to start. If you are wondering how to start, hopefully the use cases have been helpful for you. If not, use the chat. Let us know what you need. For sure, need to shout out to fundraising AI, fundraising.ai. If you haven't, please read the framework for responsible AI. This is a helpful guide for your team, your organization. I've written recently an article on responsible data. And if you're wondering, like, how do I get started? Ensure that you are using AI responsibly. And what does that mean? Start by ensuring that you're protecting your data. Don't just copy and paste your data into any and every AI tool. And after your data is protected, make sure your team is being empowered to use these tools. Give them some guidelines for use, but encourage the use. Start small, and then it's going to take just a minimum investment in time and dollars. But I think you're going to see some really encouraging results in both productivity and answers to questions that you wouldn't ask before because you didn't have time. Well, you do now. So this is nearing the conclusion of our little refreshment. I'm going to add a little spice to the refreshment here. There's a lot of nonprofit tools coming out of the woodwork. Many of them are reskins of ChatGPT. So if you're tired of hearing of ChatGPT, you're already tired of some of these nonprofit tools, as they are essentially just using their own UI, their own interface on top of ChatGPT Plus is the reality. And so there are very few unique models very few unique AI models. OpenAI, Facebook, Claude. These are folks, research teams and commercial enterprises creating unique AI models. In the future, we will see unique AI models for nonprofits. We will see GPT models that have been refined for nonprofits. Really look forward to that. I would urge you to be careful around sharing your data with a nonprofit AI tool, because if they are probably using your data to train their future AI. And so while, definitely pay attention to the fine print on what happens with your data when you share it with a vendor or a partner. Hey, that's it, gang. I hope you enjoyed our refreshment today. Stay tuned. Our next refreshment in October is going to be hosted by a dear friend of mine. If Google Analytics 4 is weighing on you, this is going to be an important topic for you. So nonprofits, get more out of GA4 with Jen Thompson. Thanks so much.